this Kingston won't stop hustling.
What up, Granders and Granddads? This you got a Black Abstract. You're locked in once again. I appreciate you for it. Do me a favor, make sure you like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, all that good stuff. Now, forget about all that, though. We got to talk about this episode. Episode 9 of Mayorofkingstown, titled The Lie of the Truth, man. Whew. Man, was this a good episode. Man, was this a good episode right here, boy. Whoa. Oh, man. I don't even know how to unpack. I'm still, like, blown away by the episode, man. It was that good. Listen, if you don't watch this show, you need to get like evaluated psychologically, because this is by far the best show on TV. And I'm not just saying that because I like Jeremy Renner and I'm a fan of Hawkeye and all that. No, that's not the case. I'm saying that because it's the truth. By far the best show on TV. So let's get into it, man. Starts off with the SWAT. They're at the house of, I believe this is the Nazis, the ones that Jeremy Renner's character killed last week. And Jeremy Renner's character is named Mike McCluskey, if you don't know or haven't watched the show. But I believe this is the house of Aryans that he killed for Iris. The shooting that occurred, they said, I heard the cops say it, the shooting that occurred was, I guess, reported by 12 different people. So they came to this house. They said they saw a big stain of blood in the driveway. So I'm guessing the people who these Aryans work for continued on this operation, or maybe it was his other friends, or maybe they took shifts. That's what I'm guessing. And they had a meth lab in the basement. And I'm guessing they came home. They must have seen the bodies, and they just cleaned them up and rolled them up, dumped them somewhere, and they just continue operations and business as normal. But that was stupid. They should have just moved operations. But hey, when you got meth is a big business. So I guess when you got $1 million operation going, you don't just pick up and leave. But not unbeknownst, but at the dismay of the detective who was running in charge of the raid, the SWAT team just go in there anyway and do their damn thing. And I love this SWAT team too, man. All season, I forget the gentleman's name, but he's a badass dude. He just don't care. Like, he don't be listening. He be slamming cops on the ground like when they out of pocket. He just super badass. He get Hondo's run for his money. I will say that. We see at the cabin, Mike is playing Chef Boyardee. He's cooking up for Iris. Listen, Mike got a lot of chaos in his life. So when he comes home and he's winding down, I see he just likes living a simple life out in his cabin. He got his cast iron skillet. He got his eggs. I was trying to figure out what the hell he was making because it looked good as hell. Come to find out, he was making German pancakes. And I was like, you know what? I'm about to make German pancakes tomorrow. I'm looking up the recipe. Because that shit was looking good. He was whipping it up. Then I seen him put it on the stove. And then he put it in the oven. I'm like, yo, what is he making? And, he's making German pancakes, come to find out. I'm like, man, that shit look good as hell. Iris is still scoring from her ordeal with the Aryan Brotherhood. They really did a number on her. They don't specify exactly what was done, but, you can leave that up to imagination. Back at the McCluskey house, Kyle is obviously, as we know, expecting. But I guess he missed the ultrasound, and, he lives with his mom. And they try to tell him, they try to get him to sit down at the breakfast table so they could go over exactly what happened and what he was having and how the ultrasound went. But he's moving, he's busy, he got a lot going on. His mom asked to talk to him. And listen, I go back and forth with the mom. I love the mom because obviously she's a great actress and she's a mom. But I just feel like she views things in a certain way, how she kind of wants them to be, but she don't see how things actually are. And I think that's her dismay with Mike, is because she was like, yo, why do you do all this? And what are you doing all this for? And it's to prevent things that happen like later on in the episode. which I'm not going to get into. And I forgot to bring over my sensor, so my RGB light went on. So, yeah, I think that's what, I think that's kind of how she is. So, like on one point, I obviously like the character. I like, she's a great actress, you know, but I just don't think she sees things how they are. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's the hiccup. But she gives this great speech to Kyle, and it kind of, and that's the hold she has over Kyle. You can tell he's the baby brother because she does have that hold over him. Even when he tries to get on his mic stuff, she just sets him down and tells him, did you know that your wife was this and this? And you can tell the wife appreciates that because she's around the corner getting emotional. And you know, hey, you gotta respect the fact the mom like a daughter, because a lot of times, mom and the daughter don't get along, they fighting. But she's just trying to do what's best for her son. She already lost her older son. She has a feeling that she's gonna lose her other son. You know, Mike been in and out of jail. He's rough around the edges. So Kyle is kind of like the good kid, the youngest. She just wants him to do right, get out of the city, live a happy life. And man, shit, he had took her advice. And any day, he probably should have took her advice. He should have just called in and stayed home. But you know that wasn't the case. We know what happened. Oh man, this was great, man. This was a great episode. But he gave her a hug and apology. You know, they hugged, kissed, made up. You know, back at the cabin, Mike is still babysitting Iris. You know, they're having conversations. I don't know if he's necessarily trying to figure her out, but he's trying to figure her out. But I feel like this is all part of her scheme. I feel like this is all, at the end, we're going to find out that this is all a setup from Milo. Because Milo's a mastermind. And he thinks things out thoroughly. And he needed a way to get to Mike. And he knew it was through her, but I think he had to take it a different approach by her. So that's what I believe, in my heart's a heart. I could be wrong, though. You know, I've been wrong before. I'll be wrong again. So we'll see what happens, though. But yeah, she comes out, they're talking. She's like, yo, I can't eat in front of you. And when she said that and he stepped out, I was like, I'm telling you, that's going to come back to bite him. That's going to come back to haunt him. Because I think I don't know if she hid something, or we'll find out in the season finale. But that was just too sketchy for me. Shit, I can't eat in front of you. Oh, should I step out? He's like weak when it comes to females. Mike's kind of like a simp, to be honest with you, when it comes to girls. Good dude, killer. Could be ferocious and vicious when he wants to, but when it comes to females, yeah, he's kind of weak. Censor right here. So. That's my stance, and I'm sticking to it. She eventually comes on the porch. They have a conversation, and she's hurting, man. She says, "Yo, can I do something, or can I tell you something?" And it cuts to a scene, and she's just like bawling her eyes out, and he's just comforting her. She's crying in the bed, and you know she's just letting it all out, and that's therapeutic for her. You know, she went through an ordeal. Even if this is part of the plan, I don't think that part, what she had to endure, was. You know what I'm saying? Like, she probably didn't know it was going to be that extreme to what they did to her. And they must have did a number on her, too, because, like I said, man, she was up there bawling. And I like scenes like that where it just, they're talking about something, all of a sudden it cuts to something dramatic, and just the emphasis on it. It's nothing else around. See him just laying there. That's just good directing. And it's produced by my boy Anton Fuqua, however you pronounce his name. Great producer, great director. Now, let's get down to the nitty gritty, because I know that's what y'all here for. I know that's what y'all here for. Kyle and, at the prison, they are getting P-Dog ready for transfer. Before that, though, the warden meets with, the two corrections officer, because in last episode, and this is another thing, those two guys passed away, man. I knew the first one passed away. They got stabbed with the pencil, but I didn't think the older gentleman would have got killed. I didn't even know they had it out for him. I thought they was trying to get the other Caucasian older gentleman. but they were sending a message. They killed the nephew and the uncle. And man, that was crazy. When they said that, I was like, he got stabbed in the gut. He wound up passing from that. He must have got him like in the artery, or they didn't get to him in enough time. But yeah, they both wind up passing away. Man, that's crazy. But we see that the warden, he wants to know what to do. He's getting advice from his corrections officer. They see it on video what happened, obviously. So they getting P-Dog ready for transfer. And then he's asking for advice. And they're like, listen, we got to send a message. You transfer P-Dog out of here to county, right? And then you lock the prison down. You got to send a message. They got to be swift, and they got to be hired. The warden is like, listen, no. I promised these guys. We had a meet. I'm not going to break my promise. We're just going to discipline the person who's responsible, and nobody else should have to. He was like, it just doesn't make sense. A white inmate helping a black inmate. They're just, he has no idea what's going on in this prison at all. He's completely disconnected from everything that's going on. You got guys that do this shit every day. Obviously, the guys are dirty as well. So they know the ins and out and everything that's going on. They know the deal. This is what Mike tried to warn them from. Like, don't do this. You're going to be owing them favors. It's going to blow up in your face. He tried to prevent it. They didn't want to listen because they wanted the child molester or the child killer killed in prison. And sure enough, this will happen. But Mike saw this happen, and he saw it. And he knew it was going to be a clusterfuck. But the warden doesn't listen, and he wound up paying for it. You know, like my man said, he said he's a politician. He doesn't know any better. I was like, yeah, he is a politician, chump. So they go to transfer P-Dog. They get him all ready. Prior to that, my man tells him, listen. He tells him, listen, yo, you can't like tell, you gotta like lie. You can't tell no truths to the warden because that makes us all look bad. You know what I'm saying? Like, you gotta keep it a secret. And he's like, yo, and my man right here, I forget his name, but he's always acting. Bald-headed black dude. He's in every show you could think of. Like, I just saw him in the show I was watching called For the People. I'm like, he played in this too? So, yeah, he's in everything. But, yeah, they go to get P-Dog ready. And you see P-Dog just having a tense stare down with with the corrections officer. And he's like, yo, you see him just looking him in his eyes. We see that Kyle and his partner Ian are coming in for the transfer. And we think it's for P-Dog initially. I think that's how it was perceived to give the audience, but that wasn't the case at all. They were actually coming from Milo. They were transferring Milo to talk to him about the shit he did in the previous episodes, because they discovered those bodies last episode, and some FBI agents got killed as well. We see that some detectives or agents come to talk to Mike and Kyle's mom, Miss McCluskey, about the killing of the corrections officer. They have their suspicions. They said there was no defense wounds. There were no scratches on him. So they're trying to just get a confession out of her. But they want this lady to talk to her because they know that I don't know if they know she's just going to be straight with him. They know this about her. So I think they're just trying to get a straight reaction. And I think based off of what that's what it seemed like. Or maybe they felt like she could open up to him. That's what they said. But I think they knew, like, she gonna go in there with her how she is. She's blatant. She's blunt. And she's just gonna come straight with no bullshit. And I think people respond to that better because they know you're not trying to bullshit them. So maybe they were expecting that, or maybe they thought that the gameplay that she said she was going to do, like, oh, they think we have some kind of relationship because I'm your teacher. You know what I'm saying? That's what I don't know if they assumed that or if they assumed the latter. Either way, I don't know if it worked. I think it did work. They never emphasized on that because obviously what else happened. So we didn't get to see what she thought because she did pause and she was thinking. And I wanted to hear what she would have told the agents. Like, did she do it or not? Kyle and Ian are locking their property up. And I wasn't thinking nothing of this scene. Then I saw P-Dog sitting there. He had his mask and shit on. You know, when they loaded him up, too, let's talk about that. They loaded that man up like he was Hannibal Lecter. I was like, yo, they had him in a chair. His mouth was covered. They had a bag over his head. And he was just staring down at old boy like I knew, I was like, yo, he giving him the death stare. There's something coming up. I said, there's something coming up. I don't know what it is. I thought he was just going to say something slick to him, and I thought the corrections officer was going to just lose control and just take him out, like take care of him, kill him. That wasn't the case. But we see him sitting down in this kind of like processing area, and we looking at the other inmates that are working in there, and P-Dog is like looking at him, giving them the signal. And I'm like, oh, shit, some shit about to happen. And then on, like, outside the room, you see Milo sitting there. So I'm like, oh, they here for Milo. So that's what they played a trick on me. I don't know, maybe it was just me. I thought they were here for P-Dog. And I was like, well, shouldn't there be more people transferring P-Dog? But I thought they were coming to get him, but they were coming to get Milo. And then all hell's break loose, man. They get the one guy, they just outpowered him and outnumbered him quick, fast, swiftly. Hit him with the broomstick, grabbed his mace, start macing people. Kyle and Ian tried to do, and they start doing them dirty too. I'm like, man, this is crazy right here. Like, they was just, whoo, it got ugly. It really got ugly for everybody. So they got the shit beat out of them. They grabbed the keys. They're going into the prison, I guess, to incite a riot. Milo happened to be sitting here. You know, Milo's a mastermind. He tells them, it's this key. He like, all right. He was like, listen. He's like, how do you know? He said, man, I pay attention. But you can't go into a gunfight with a baton. The weapons room is right over there. He was like, uncuff me. I'll get you in there. I know every key. So they uncuff him. I'm like, oh, man. Like like a mastermind and the dude ain't got nothing to lose working together. And P-Dog ain't no slouch either. He definitely he's a smart dude. He know in and outs of the prison. He has patience, you know what I'm saying? But they did him dirty, you know what I'm saying? And obviously the guards don't deserve to die and all this stuff they doing to him. But they did do that man dirty. They threw him inside solitary confinement. They was feeding him shit. You know what I'm saying? You guys remember that? Before, okay, if you don't remember that, think about that. When they put him in solitary confinement for doing nothing, all he did was ask for a little bit more because of what they asked him to do. They got mad because they were asking for more, grabbed him, threw him in solitary confinement. He lost the yard. They kept feeding him shit, bowls of literal shit, passing it into solitary confinement. He dumped the shit in the fucking toilet. They like, yo, I need the bowl back. Make him get the bowl out the shit so they give it back to him. Like, they were feeding that man. Somebody really took a shit and put their shit in a bowl and gave it to the man. So fucking disrespectful, man. That's why I ain't gonna say I don't feel bad. Obviously, I feel bad, but I just think they caused this issue on for themselves. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, we see the guys we see them get the weapons, and man, when they got the weapons, it was a wrap. It was a wrap, dude. They was laying everything down. They had the keys to everywhere, so they could get in. Milo was telling them red key. It's always the red key. So they blasting everybody. The depths, the corrections officer on the block were trying to get the inmates back in the cells. They almost had them in there, and then all of a sudden, they heard the gunshots, and they just flipped on the corrections officers, just started beating them and doing all kinds of stuff to them, man. It was crazy. We see in the midst of that, Kyle and Ian got the shit beat out of them, obviously. They wake up later. Kyle has the mace in his eye. Ian helps him. They got one weapon in the utility closet, but a bunch of clips. So they trying to maneuver out of the prison. The guards, the main guys, the black guys, I can't remember their names, and the Caucasian guy who thinks he runs everything, Paul, I believe his name is. They all suit up like they got their riot shit. And they got their weapons. So they going out there to lay everything down. They go out there and they get a few shots off, but they just get outpowered. Like, first of all, the inmates got weapons. And then they try to run. They try to retreat to go the other way. And there's a herd of inmates coming the other way. And then they just get surrounded. And they get the hell beat out of them. And I said, damn, this how you know the markings of a good show, because every character is expendable. Like, it's not one character you be like, oh, ain't nothing gonna happen. The fucking main character at the beginning of the first episode died. Who the trailer based the show being about was, well, obviously we knew it was about Jeremy Renner, but they kept showing his older brother in the Mitch in the trailers. So he's like, oh, this must be about two brothers. You know what I'm saying? You're not thinking he gonna get his head blown off the first episode. So that's what I love about this. Everybody is expendable in this show. Back at the women's prison, we see Miss McCluskey sitting in the classroom. All of a sudden, they ring the alarm. They start ushering people out. I'm like, this is crazy. Prior to that, Jeremy Renner's character, or Mike, is still at the shelter, having his heart-to-heart with Iris. And they're talking, and she says something to him. He's like, what do you want to do? She was just like, nothing. And, he turned around, looked at her, and she said, don't you look at me like I'm broken. All of a sudden, he just like tearing up. So Mike has some kind of trauma. We don't know what it is. Something that makes him relates to these damaged females. Or I don't know if he's just a super empathist. I don't know. I really don't. I don't really get the whole obsession or the play with her. She's a cute girl, but I don't know. I just don't know. It's something that'll come out later that we'll find out, and that he relates Iris to something. And it's like, I don't know. I honestly don't. But at the prison, man, shit is just going haywire. They find like a tunnel to get down in. It has a lock. They shoot the lock off, so they try to get down through this tunnel. Which leads to like the boiler rooms and shit. And they hear something, and it's inmates that are hiding too. And you're like, how y'all get in here if the lock was broken up there? Obviously, there's another way in there. There's a door. But they said, listen, man, we down here hiding just like y'all too. They was like, yo, why is y'all hiding? He was like, man, people got debts they want to settle. Yo, I don't blame them, man. Some of the inmates like, hell, I ain't with it, man. Close the cell. Just lock me in that bitch, please. Like, please, just lock me in that motherfucker, man. I couldn't imagine being there. I don't know. I just want to pause. I'm like, man, I couldn't imagine being in no shit like that. But like, yeah, so Mike's out of the question. He's MIA. And shit is going haywire. And, man, this was by far the best episode of the season. Ends off, like I said, they escorted Miss McCluskey out of the prison. All you do is see is smoke and flames going up. And how about the shot when the security officer, the corrections officer, who's the old guy who was eating the Vienna sausages in the earlier episodes, they showed him go home, and his wife was just abusing him because his son was mentally handicapped. She was like, yeah, I'm here all day. She's smacking him, get up, clean it up, clean it. And he's just miserable. He's in the shower beating on. We see him at the tower, at the top of the tower, in all his glory. He never been so happy a day in his life. He was laying everything out. Pop, pop, pop. They tried to come up on the platform and take him out. He knocking them down. Bah, bah, bah. He starts smiling like, yes. He feel like, listen, if I don't make it through this and I go, I still don't have to be near my wife. That's how he felt. It was a win-win situation for him. Man, he's like, yo, I get to kill people, and then like if something happened, hey, I don't gotta go home and be with her no more. This is great. And we find out that the security or the prison officer who got stabbed with the pencil, he loses his pension, et cetera, if it's come to find out the reason he got killed was if he's getting accused of doing something like this. So I'm like, damn. So they told old girl that, and I thought she was gonna kind of be like, oh yeah, no, she didn't give two fucks. She brutal, but she know damn well that ain't happening to her, man. Crazy females, man. All in all, great episode, man. I really don't know too much to say. This was great. Like, I want to go upstairs and watch it again. It was dope, man. Like, this show is amazing. By far, the best show on TV right now. I read a review somewhere when the first 2 episodes, and they reviewed it and it said it was a flop. And I'm like, I was hooked from the first episode. Listen, post your comments below. If there's anything I missed, make sure you're leaving it in the comments below. Listen, I normally, when I do these recaps, I'll have it on my screen and I'll do a run through. That's why I kind of, I don't know what's going on right now. It's like freezing up on me. It's pausing. It's hating on me pretty much. But so I didn't get to do a frame by frame like I normally do. But like I said, if it's anything I left out, let's talk about it in the comments. Make sure you like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. As always, peace, love, and prosperity. One.